Hello and welcome back to Novacraft. This is episode 5, and we start with a little bit of a problem. We barely have any gold. 13 ingots left. And that's a problem because it's expensive to cure villagers to get cheaper trades. We wanted to do a lot of trading with villagers this season. That's our main way of gathering resources. You know, less mining, more trading. So that's going to be an issue that we only have 13 gold. There are some ways we have in order to get more gold. I mean, we can mine for it like normal, but that's a painstakingly slow process. It would probably take us a couple of days to get enough gold to cure up 100 villagers. That's probably roughly how many we're going to have. Each villager needs a golden apple, and that costs 8 gold ingots. So mining, it's not going to be the way we want to go. I mean, in episode 1, we said we wanted to mine less. So we can't really do that. There are some other options. And number 1, we could go find a mesa biome. In a mesa biome, gold spawns at 20 times the rate as any other biome. So we did. I looked. I spent a few hours looking for a mesa biome. They're not that common, but I went out 5,000 blocks in one direction and in a boat and started weaving back and forth all around in a big circle. And I found a lot of things. I found a golden apple in a chest. I found a pink sheep. Those are rare. Ooh, pink sheep. But I did not find a mesa biome, so kind of had to give up there. We could use Chunkbase or some other website to type in our seed and to actually find a mesa biome that way. But that's kind of feels a little cheaty, so we're not going to use that this season. Other options for getting gold. We could build a gold farm in the overworld, like this one pictured here from my survival server with a friend. The problem with this is that we need a lot of obsidian. All those end portals need a lot of obsidian, and that's not fun to gather right now. It's not fun to gather anytime, but the easiest way to do so is by getting to the end and mining down these giant obsidian pillars. We're not at the end yet. We'll get there, but without that, we're not going to go and gather the amount of obsidian you would normally need. Another option would be to build a gold farm in the Nether, like this one I'm showing you here in the same survival world with that friend. These are going to be way more efficient, and this is a great option. But we're currently in snapshot 1.15, and it feels kind of strange to spend a lot of time building up a gold farm in 1.15 if we can just update to 1.16. But if we update to 1.16, we don't necessarily need to build a gold farm. We can go find some bastions and raid them. They have plenty of gold in them that would be perfectly suitable for our needs here. But if we're going to do bastion raiding, then it would be a lot easier to do with an elytra. In 1.16, the Nether is kind of hard to navigate, even if you have an elytra. And we don't have one yet because we haven't gotten to the end and beaten the end dragon and then gone and done end raiding. So that's still not an option. So it gets us back to our original point. We need these gold apples to cure up villagers. But do we? We cured up each of these cartographers to get reduced trades. Instead of 11 glass panes, it only costs 6 to get 1 emerald here. And so that's really the value of curing up these villagers, is that you can get cheaper trades. We needed to do that for the cartographers so that we can actually get an excess of emeralds, and I'll show you how the math is going to work out later. I think we even touched on it in episode 3. But we don't necessarily need to do that for the other villagers. I mean, yeah, it'd be nicer to get cheap trades, but the point is we have a lot of extra emeralds from what we're going to do with these cartographers, and that will be able to fund buying expensive books or buying expensive armor or whatever else we need. So that brings us full circle. We don't actually need gold. We'll be fine just using all these emeralds we get from these guys to do trading with everybody else. So how do we get this surplus of emeralds that we need? Well, I showed you the cartographer piece. That we get 1 emerald for every 6 glass panes we give them. We can do that trade 16 times per cycle, and we have 12 villagers. So that's a total of 1,152 glass panes traded for 192 emeralds per cycle. As I'm showing here, a librarian has a trade where you can give them 1 emerald for 4 glass. We can do that trade 12 times per cycle with each librarian, so that's 12 emeralds for 48 glass. We can convert every 6 glass into 16 glass panes, so basically every cycle for each one of these librarians, 12 emeralds will give us 48 glass, which we can make 128 glass panes out of. And so if we do the math, we need 9 librarians to get enough glass to make 1,152 glass panes. So if we add all this up, with 9 librarians and 12 cartographers, we can trade 108 emeralds to get 432 glass, to make 1,152 glass panes, to trade back into 192 emeralds. That's a profit of 84 emeralds per cycle, and to boot, we're going to get about 1,350 XP on average per time we do this. That's enough XP to get us from almost level 0 to level 30. You know, sometimes we'll get level 30, sometimes we'll get level 29. So this is going to make a really good XP farm too. The only catch here is that not all librarians get this glass trade. I think it happens around 2 out of every 3 times. So we have to get a little lucky, and that's what we worked on. I spent several hours trading and finding these librarians. You know, you break the station, you plant it back down, they pick up a new trade, and doing that over and over again until I got 12 librarians with the exact enchantments we want. That's going to be stuff like Efficiency 4 here, Unbreaking 3, Fortune 3, Mending, all of the good enchantments we need. There's 12 of them that we want, and I was able to get 9 of them to get this glass trade. So we've got them all set up here. We just need somewhere to put them, and so we're going to be building a library for them. But first, we need to do one thing to gather a little bit of a resource that we're going to need for this build. So what resource is that? That is the honey block. And a bit of a quick detour before we show how we're going to get that. I built a little boardwalk, started to build the boardwalk between our home base and the cartographer hut, just to kind of tie it all together. As we add more buildings, like the library, which is going to go right over here, it's going to be kind of strange just to have disjointed buildings. We need some sort of pathway structure to connect them, so worked on this little lakeside boardwalk here. Oop. And I think it kind of brings the area together a little nicer. Got these flowers planted here, and we're going to use those to have bees pollinate them and give us honey bottles, which we'll be able to craft into honey blocks. I've got all the ingredients we need right here. I've got 3 bees nests that are filled with bees in them. So essentially how that's going to work, and I'm not going to place the bees nest down right away because they'll fly everywhere. I'll build one of these up, and this is representing where the bees nest is going to go. How this works is we need to have a dispenser. That's not going to work. The dispenser needs to be facing into the bees nest. So let's see if we can do that. There we go. And the dispenser will have a bunch of glass bottles in it. So the dispenser will dispense glass bottles onto this bee's nest, and underneath there you saw was a hopper, which will carry a filled glass bottle of honey this way. And there's the bees. So let's see. We want this to end up somewhere we can access it. I think right there. We're going to put our barrel down. And a line of hoppers going into it. Now whenever we dispense the glass bottle into here, it will carry the honey bottle right here. In order to make that happen, we need to power the dispenser whenever this thing is going to be full. And there's some ways to do that exactly. I mean, you can take a comparator output from here, and as this thing gets filled up, on the right hand side here you see it says honey level 4. Once that hits honey level 5, this will change. It'll look like it's got honey dripping out of it, and that's when it's ready to be harvested. That's when you dispense the glass bottle, and it will fill up with honey, drop down, and be carried off. So you could take that comparator output and make some redstone circuit so that exactly once it hits level 5, that's when it sends a signal back into this dropper that's going to do what we just said. But we're not trying to be the most efficient in the world this season, so all we're going to do is make this a lot more compact, because that redstone would take up some space. We're just going to do a little daylight sensor, making sure that it has access to the sky. And once it turns daytime, it's got to go nighttime first. Once then it hits day, that'll power this, and it will dispense the glass bottle. And that should be it. We're just going to cover up the rest here with some slabs. And I'm going to do the same thing here and here. Chain them all together with our hopper line, and that'll be it. So here we have it. Our bees are working away, gathering that honey for us. And I've let it run for a few days so far. So we've already got, let's see, 9 honey bottles. And yeah, we'll just kind of keep letting them work and collect that honey while we build up the rest of the library. And hopefully by the time we're ready for the honey blocks, we'll have enough. And that's where we're going to leave this one today. We're going to build the library at the end of the boardwalk in the next episode. So, until the next one.